Have you ever caught yourself mid-sentence and realized with a jolt that you're speaking in your mother's voice, or noticed your hands trembling with your father's anger? That moment when you promised yourself, I'll never do that to my children, only to find those exact patterns emerging despite your best intentions. Welcome to Finding You Now. I'm Amanda Ashworth, and today we're diving into perhaps the most courageous work any parent can undertake: healing generational trauma while raising children, the impossible task of repairing the boat while sailing it. The most radical act of parenting isn't perfection, it's having the courage to heal what was never healed in you. I remember standing in my kitchen 2 years ago, my daughter's tears falling as I heard myself repeating words that had once shattered my own childhood confidence, words I had sworn would never leave my lips. In that moment, I realized that my conscious intentions were no match for unconscious patterns etched into my nervous system decades before. Generational trauma isn't just dramatic family history. It's the subtle, everyday patterns of relating, communicating, and processing emotions that travel through bloodlines like invisible code. It's how we learn to love, to fight, to apologize, or not. It's the unseen inheritance that shapes our parenting more powerfully than any book we've read or course we've taken. The hardest truth: awareness alone doesn't break these patterns, neither does love, neither does fierce determination. If it did, we would all be parenting entirely differently than the generations before us. You don't heal generational trauma by simply knowing better. You heal it by being brave enough to feel what your ancestors couldn't afford to feel. So, what exactly does it mean to heal generational trauma while actively parenting? First, we need to release the myth that healing happens in a linear fashion, that we solve it once and move forward unencumbered. Healing while parenting is messy. It happens in cycles, in layers, often triggered by the very children we're trying to protect from our wounds. The science confirms what many of us experience. Trauma responses aren't intellectual choices. When triggered, our bodies react in microseconds, releasing stress hormones that hijack our higher reasoning. This isn't weakness or failure, it's neurobiology. The patterns you're trying to break have been reinforced across generations, wired into your nervous system since before you had language. But here's where hope enters. Contemporary neuroscience has proven our brains remain plastic throughout our lives. The pathways created by early experiences can be rewired through consistent practice and the right support. The cycle can be interrupted, not perfectly, but significantly. So, how do we actually do this work while in the trenches of everyday parenting? First, we must embrace rupture and repair over the illusion of perfection. When you inevitably find yourself repeating a pattern, the healing doesn't come from avoiding it, it comes from what you do next. Can you circle back to your child, take responsibility without shame, and show them what healthy accountability looks like? This isn't just damage control, it's actively rewriting the generational script. The legacy you leave isn't built on the moments you got it right, but on the moments you repaired what went wrong. Second, develop a trauma informed relationship with your triggers. Start noticing which parenting moments consistently dysregulate you. Is it food refusal, defiance, emotional outbursts? These triggers are often directly connected to your own childhood wounds. They're invitations, painful but powerful, to heal precisely what needs healing. Third, build regulation practices that work in real parenting moments. Deep breathing is wonderful, but often impractical when you're already flooded. Create micro interventions that work for your real life. A cold splash of water on your face, a specific phrase you repeat silently, or physically stepping away for 30 seconds. Your nervous system needs concrete tools, not abstract concepts. Perhaps the most difficult part of this journey is holding two seemingly contradictory truths. You are responsible for your healing work, and you are not to blame for patterns installed in you without your consent. Many parents get trapped in shame spirals that actually reinforce generational patterns rather than healing them. True healing requires fierce self compassion alongside responsibility. You cannot shame yourself into new patterns. Neuroscience has proven this repeatedly. The wounded parts of you deserve the same compassion you wish to give your children. They are, after all, the children you once were. As we close today, I invite you to start with just one pattern you've noticed yourself repeating. This week, when this pattern emerges, and it will, try responding differently, not just to your child, but to yourself. Instead of collapsing into shame or pushing into denial, can you simply witness it with curiosity? There it is. This pattern has been in my family for generations. And in this moment, I'm bringing awareness to what was unconscious before. This witnessing is how healing begins, not with grand gestures, but with tiny moments of interrupting what has always been automatic. The truth about healing generational trauma as a parent is that it's messy, non-linear work that happens in ordinary Tuesday afternoons between school pickups and dinner prep. But it's also the most important work you'll ever do because it changes not just your life, but the lives of generations yet to come. This is Amanda Ashworth, and you've been listening to Finding You Now. Until next time, remember, your willingness to heal what you didn't cause is perhaps the greatest gift you'll ever give your children.